Welcome to the Angel Rewatch, a spoiler-free retrospective podcast on Angel. I'm William.
And I'm Derek, and this is a podcast for A New World, originally airing May 6, 2002, written by Jeffrey Bell. Things pick up right where they left off, but in super slow-mo. Connor shoots his crossbow thingy and narrowly misses Angel's heart. Then there's a four-way battle between Angel, Connor, Gru, and Gunn, and Connor trounces them all. Well, kind of. There's a moment where Angel has Connor pinned to the floor with his arm blade against his son's neck. Realizing what he is doing, Angel lets Connor go. Connor jumps up, and more slow-mo now, runs into the sunlight. Gunn and Gru run after Connor, but he jumps onto the back of a bus and out of sight. Everyone regroups in the Hyperion lobby. Angel goes to the sewers to do something. Gunn and Fred volunteer to track down Connor, so Angel can talk to him when the sun goes down. Cordelia and Gru stay behind because the thing that Connor popped out of is now crackling. While Fred wants to call Wesley, Lawrence says he has a contact that specializes in portals, and he goes to find her. Lila then shows up at Wesley's apartment with a gift and an odd job offer. Wesley scoffs at the job she's offering, but Lila shows him the gift she has. It's copies of Dante's Inferno, the poem that is the roadmap of hell, and she points out that the worst circle of hell is reserved for betrayers. So he can't act like he's not better than them. Now from here, there's a lot of running around and searching and crap, and I'm just going to cut it all out because I'm bored and I just want to talk about the episode. The gist of it is this. Gru and Cordelia's relationship begins to fall apart more as she talks about Angel nonstop. Then the portal lashes out and knocks them unconscious. Wesley ponders over Lila's job offer. Connor finds a new friend, a young drug addict named Sunny. Connor comes to Sunny's aid when she's in confrontation with her drug dealer. Connor takes out the drug dealer and forces the dealer to shoot and kill one of his own men. Connor then escapes with Sunny, but not before cutting off the drug dealer Tyke's ear. Sunny and Connor go to some hovel and bond over stuff. I don't know, Connor doesn't really talk, but Sunny's into it for some reason, and then she kisses him, and just when Connor starts sticking his tongue down her throat, she leaves promising to be right back. Apparently, Connor falls asleep while Sunny was away, and he tries to find her. He finds her in the bathroom, dead, overdosed on drugs. Angel shows up in the doorway, wanting to talk to Connor. Fred and Gunn arrive back to the Hyperion to find Cordelia and Gru. They wake them up just before Lauren comes back with his witchy expert. She tells everyone that this isn't a portal, but a tear in reality. Something very powerful punches its way through it. She closes it up, no problem, though, but she doesn't want to stick around. Angel tries to talk to Connor and learns that A, Connor doesn't want to talk, and B, his name is Steven. This can happen when he's raised by Angel's greatest enemy. He is determined to be Connor/Steven's life, and he won't lose him again. But they are interrupted by Tyke and the police following Tyke. There's a bloody and serious shootout with some very aggressive police officers. Angel tells Connor to jump out the window and escape, and Connor obeys, but as he is running, one of the officers goes to shoot a shotgun at him. Angel leaps in front of the shot, and Connor is shocked, but Angel gets up and jumps both of them out the window. Angel runs with Connor on the street before he has to stop. He tells Connor that he can come back to the Hyperion with him. Angel wants to make sure that he's not alone. Angel tells him he's not, and then later is seen running in an alley. He finds a shadowy corner and stops, and Holt comes out of the darkness. Connor greets him with a hi, Dad, and that is the end of the episode. So we're just going to call him Connor, right? We're not going to do this.
Yeah, we're not going to do this. I like picking up right where we left off. Obviously, we were going to, but I thought that they paced the opening pretty well.
Oh, did you? Because I hated it.
See, I like the slow-mo, even if it's really bad CGI for the majority of the beginning, or dated CGI, I should say. I thought it was...
See, I hate it.
I thought it was one of the more interesting, fight scenes we've had.
No, when Connor is going up against Angel and then the other two guys, I think that is interesting. My problem with the CGI is not the CGI. I mean, I'm ready to excuse that because it's old. But my problem with the slow-mo is what comes after it, because Angel keeps telling people that Connor's confused and he doesn't know what's going on, and it just happened so fast, which in their time it did, but for us it didn't. And for us, Connor shows up and he tries to kill Angel. There's no doubt about what happens in that scene because it is in slow-mo. But everyone else is confused about what happened, and that is my problem, that we know more than they do because they slowed it down.
I think, well, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, maybe some of them are more confused than the others. I feel like Gru and Gunn have a better understanding of, like, yeah, this guy was actually trying to kill you, and then Angel feels more, like, in denial.
Well, that's probably a part of it, but also I think it is supposed to be that they're a little bit confused about what happened, and I would have liked it if it just happened in real time and we didn't have to do the slow-mo where Angel got shot at, and it just makes Angel look like an idiot, even though if it is his son. Anyway, that's my problem with it. I don't really like it.
I mean, yeah, they do have, like, all the characters voice different opinions about it, like, and Lorne's the only one that really brings up he's probably trying to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Where, from our perspective, it's pretty clear that he was trying to kill him.
Right. I do like how the fight sequence ends with Angel pinning the blade to his son's throat, and then kind of letting go and then offering his hand, and seeing Connor's reaction to that was really interesting. And the way he kind of, like, actually freaks out and kind of squirms away.
Yeah, do you want to talk about Connor? Because let's just talk about Connor.
Sure.
Because I'm still not, I have conflicting feelings about Connor, where I'm not quite sure how I feel yet about the whole situation.
I feel like they're playing their cards pretty close to their chest. Like, he doesn't say much of anything in this episode. They even have characters comment on the fact that he doesn't say anything. And I feel like they want to hold off of, like, why he's here. I mean, well, obviously we know why he's here. But
he's here to kill Angel. I think that's pretty clear from creepy old man Holtz in the alley. Which, by the way, how does Connor know this specific alley that he has to go to? And I'm assuming that Holtz comes through the portal thing when Cordelia and Gru get knocked out. I'm just assuming that.
Yeah, I think that's
what supposed to be implied by when Cordelia asks if anything came through.
Maybe he smelt him or tracked him or whatever. Not a big deal for me.
Okay, sure.
But I mean, it is slightly annoying because of how he seems so overwhelmed with being in the city earlier in the episode, and things, it being very strange in the way that the camera kind of shakes around. And
well, yeah, because he's never seen cars before.
Right.
So, I'm assuming maybe they have him in Kortoth, which, by the way, Fred mispronounces Kortoth's name in the beginning. Just pointing that out.
I did not catch that.
I forget how she pronounces it, but it is not correct. At least from what they've been pronouncing Korthoth as before. Anyway, that's another thing. It's just, I still don't know. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about Connor because they give him the briefest of character sketches. And I think he's interesting for now. He could go another way. Because it's difficult, right? Because he has to be... He's this... I really do feel like this was Holtz's plan all along, and not just because it's a rewatch, but I feel like when he raised Connor, his plan was to send Connor eventually after Angel to kill him. Because I think that's part of Holtz's plan, is that Angel should end up dead. So obviously, I think Connor is here to kill him. And I think we get that from when he's talking to Sonny and says if parents are evil, they should be killed. So he thinks that Angel is evil, but now he gets evidence that Angel is not, and he's conflicted about it. And that is pretty much where we're leaving Connor for this episode.
Yeah, he's obviously been influenced or brainwashed, however you want to put it, from Holtz. Mm-hmm. And that's really evident in the scene between Angel and Connor in the squatter hole or the drug den or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But I like both that moment when he kind of starts antagonizing Angel about what he knows of Angel, what he was brought up, and what he was raised to believe.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't a lie.
No, it's not. And that's what's so effective about it, because Angel can't really respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like, it's a very, very small, I mean, it's a one line of dialogue, but, Angel talking about how I couldn't get in, and then he was like, I got out. The way he delivers, like, I got out.
Yeah. I do think that Connor does a pretty good job. It's a difficult character because we don't really know anything about him, and he's going after Angel, and we know he's being manipulated a little bit by Holtz. Maybe not even a little. But Holtz raised him to think that Angel is evil and that Angel needs to be killed. And now he gets all this evidence that Angel cares about him, and how does that affect him? And I don't know how I feel about that whole story, really, until I see more of it.
Right.
And it could go bad, really.
It feels like it will be difficult either way.
Yes.
Because that's a very complicated portrayal of emotions that you have to get across.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of pain of a father that abandoned you, but at the same time, I don't know. It's very complicated, and we didn't. And the problem is we haven't seen him. He's now a man or teenager or whatever.
Man-child.
Big man-child.
Androgynous teen pleaser.
Peter Pan.
Oh, Peter Pan, some would say. Anyway, no, go on. He is these things.
So this is our introduction to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't say anything. Hardly.
Well, he says some things.
He says some things, and some things Sonny likes, apparently.
Yeah. Which is a very awkward making out. Which you could expect, since I'm assuming his only human interaction has been Holtz, but still. That made me uncomfortable to watch. Yeah.
I mean, how do you portray someone who's never seen a girl / kissed a girl? I don't know, whatever. There was a lot of awkward things. I really didn't like whatever she was feeding him. I found that really awkward.
Well, I found it awkward.
You've never had one of these before, right?
I found it awkward that I felt it was unsanitary. That she was like feeding it from her hand, which obviously wasn't. It just grossed me out. Like, no, just stop. You don't know each other. Keep your fingers out of each other's mouths for now. Like, no, I'm not okay with this. What I was going to say before we got off on that tangent is how I feel about the Connor stories. I feel like it is telegraphed in some way where it is going, in the fact that he thinks Angel's evil and he's getting evidence that he's not. And that worries me. And I hope, and I honestly don't remember, that there's some kind of twist to... Because what I would feel is that he's going to turn against Holtz somehow. But then if he doesn't turn against Holtz, how do we find him sympathetic? I mean, it's a tricky situation, and he's a hard character. And for now, they're doing an all-right job. I don't think they do a good job or a great job with Connor. I think they do an okay job.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure. Like, the show wants to keep your opinion of him in a very interesting place.
Because the other thing I feel about Connor is I'm not interested in Connor as a person.
Right.
I'm interested in how he relates to this game of cat and mouse between Holtz and Angel. Because those are the characters I care about, and he's a plot device for me right now.
I mean, that's what he was as a baby as well.
Well, yes, sir. But he was a baby, and he really didn't have any lines then. And he was 3 people, so.
Yeah, ultimately, we're trying to see how different characters react to him now being grown, and I was interested in how Angel was going to take it and how he would respond.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did get some pretty good moments with Angel trying to deal with the fact that Connor is a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And try
he accepts it pretty quickly.
He does accept it pretty quickly, but how he's trying to... There's a desperation there.
Mm-hmm. No, he does he's done a good job, real good job all season with Connor scenes, and that continues, even though he's not just acting with a doll/baby, now he's acting with a Vincent person.
And there is something to the fact that Connor can now talk back. I really like the scene where Angel's listen to me,
mm-hmm.
and so Connor slams him against the wall and says, no.
And then,
they have this tussle or whatever. It's really interesting to have the rebellious teenager. I don't want it to feel too... I mean, it can so easily go poorly.
Yes.
Where he'll seem childish and unsympathetic.
Can you think of a teenage character that was brought onto a show that wasn't annoying? Because I can't.
Right. What I will say is...
If it's not a show about teenagers, then I more than likely hate the teenage character.
Right.
Fear the Walking Dead. That son needs to die real quick. Anyway. This show, talking more about Connor, how do you feel about Vincent Karsloffer being the one that...
Parsizer?
Okay. How do you feel about Pete Campbell being Connor? I have some opinions.
I felt like he did an adequate job. Because he has to be both antagonists and... I mean, we've only gotten a glimpse of if there's an actual human being there or not.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that didn't work for me, like the feeding him food and him being like, oh, look, this tastes so good. So I don't know how much, I mean, I'm hoping we get more than just the one side of him.
You mean the angry.
Yeah.
You killed my father's family side.
So prepare to die.
If he was Inigo Montoya, then they were on a whole nother level. It's the best character in the goddamn show.
So he's had to play it kind of one note.
Yeah.
So I don't really have an opinion of him.
Okay, I was more talking about his physical appearance, but I agree with what you said about his acting ability for now. Because I actually think he's very good on Mad Men, but this would obviously predate that. The first time I saw Connor, besides the fact that that's Pete Campbell, I had a visceral reaction that I don't see Angel or Darla in him physically. And he's kind of like, I don't know, he looks very weak. And that's kind of and that could just be Pete Campbell coming through, because Pete Campbell, when he played Pete Campbell on Mad Men, he tried to act like he was very masculine and in charge, and he wasn't. So that might not be fair. But what I like so far about this is that he doesn't actually look like he's threatening. And you get the idea from Kortoth that he's had to scrap and fight to survive, and he's not burly like Angel is. Like, there's not an inherent strength to Connor. He's had to. And I like how Connor fights, that he doesn't... Like, Gunn, Gru, and Angel kind of all just charge at him, and Connor uses their own energy against them. And
right.
He doesn't go head first like all the other men on this show. He fights in a different way.
Yeah, he fights on a different axis. I like how acrobatic it looks. It reminds me of Robin from Batman or something. He's
Jason Todd, by the way, who we're trying to assign Batman characters, the Angel characters.
I think he's Damien.
Actually, he's literally Damien, because You're right. Never mind. He's just Damien because he's a Batman son with a supervillain. So yeah, okay, he's Damien.
I mean, I like his physical portrayal. He is kind of stringy, but obviously he does have super strength because he can.
Well, yeah. I guess he's. So we were told that Connor is human when he was a baby. Apparently not, because I don't know any humans who can grab onto a bus and also their bones melt into like rubbery things because they become CGI monsters.
I think. I mean, he's human plus whatever. He has extra attributes.
So he's human in the same way that Buffy is human, because it's not like Buffy being a Slayer is a species unto herself.
Right.
She's a human with powers.
Whether that means he's part demon or imbued with vampire strength.
Cordelia's part demon.
Right.
Okay. It's weird because the only people who have powers on this universe that are not Slayers are demons. So, and I guess, Connor is born of two demons, so I guess
it kind of works.
That's fine. I mean, it's not egregious. There's much more weird issues going on with Connor, like how he came out of a hell dimension that no one could enter, but he found a way out. And he's supposed to be the destroyer of worlds, and how was he even born in the first place, which has never been answered. Yet.
No, but yeah, physically, I think he works fine. Mm-hmm. I actually kind of like that he's kind of stringy. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that the way they choreographed his fighting style fit to his physical attributes.
Yeah. Because when I first saw him, I don't believe this person is Angel's son, but that kind of works for me now in a way it didn't before.
Did they lighten Angel's hair between episodes?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
I don't know. I feel like they were like changing it to look lighter to match Connor's hair. I don't know. It looks.
He has brown hair since the first. What are you talking about?
This looks brighter to me.
He has brownish red. Okay, fine. Well, I've never noticed any issues with Angel's hair. Cordelia's hair, whole other story, which is still, we're slowly slooping to the one side.
Right. It's almost season 4 here. Mm-hmm. So is there anything else you want to talk about with Connor?
No, not going to be in feedback. We can talk about Cordelia, and then I really don't think there's anything else besides it's not in feedback that we have to talk about. Because the Lila and Wesley thing is going to come up in feedback.
Okay, cool.
So we can talk about Cordelia and Grow. And how much I love Grow.
I know.
Which is so surprising to me on Rewatch. Okay, well, apparently I just like it when people are petty. Or it's just very funny to me. Well, that's what I do like when Fred and Gunn show up that we have to obey Angel because Angel's our leader.
Yes, exactly. That's a very funny line.
Well, it's the most kind of aggressive Gru's got without a battle axe in his hand.
The snark was real.
Mm-hmm. No, but what I like about Gru, besides the fact that he has funny lines occasionally, is that he's actually kind of really sad as a character. Because he's in love with Cordelia, and he was a virgin before her, which is what we get in this episode, and he gave up everything for her, and she's not in love with him in the same way he is. And I find that really sad. Because Gru's such a nice person.
It's, yeah. It's interesting because he could so easily, it could be so easy to screw that up and make him seem like a whiny baby.
Mm-hmm. Or just make him not seem like a person.
Yeah, sure. Which, I feel like there was a distance for a while with that because of just how he vocalizes things and we didn't really know him and everything, but the more time has gone along, it's been very apparent of how genuine he is.
Yeah.
And just, he is a good person.
Like, I believe there's nobody like Gru that exists, which I think Cordelia has said before, but I believe that Gru exists. That he is this pure and genuine and just, he believes everything that he says.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see Cordelia slipping up even more about, like, the things she says around him. But she even notices what she's doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, how could you not? At this point, it'd be just Cordelia's an idiot. I think that she's beginning to realize how she feels. Or that she knows there's a problem with what they have.
It wouldn't be the first time she's been oblivious to romantic feelings.
Are we talking about Angel, or are we just...
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah.
Well, just Cordelia's character in general.
Well, yeah, she was also kind of oblivious to Doyle for a while.
Yeah.
So I guess that is a trait. I mean, we've already talked about how Cordelia... What does Cordelia think about Angel? And does she know how she feels, and is that believable in a non-TV sense? Because obviously she can't believe, because that's just a TV convention thing that she can't know until they decide they want them to be together.
Right.
But I think for now it's working, because it's not... And the other thing I really like about the Gru and Cordelia relationship is it's not that she doesn't like him, or she's being with him to just be with somebody, is that she likes him. It's just not what she has with Angel. And Gru understands that, where she doesn't.
Yeah, it's so difficult. I mean, it's because we haven't seen her obviously accept her own feelings or come to understand those feelings. Mm-hmm. So part of it is kind of annoying.
Well, yeah, part of it is annoying.
The oblivious nature of it bothers me, which also does firmly make me like Gru more.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because you feel more rooted in his side. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they need to address it sooner rather than later but I mean, if there's only 2 episodes left,
you would think they would.
Exactly. So,
and it's obviously become a problem for Gru that he's being this passive-aggressive about it, which Gru is not a very passive-aggressive character.
Right. So they're ramping it up. It's been a very slow burn.
Well, they haven't been back. I mean, Gru has not appeared in that many episodes. Since he's been back with... since they came back from vacation, Gru has, I think, had at least one moment, an episode where at least someone comments on Cordelia's relationship with Angel and how it's different than, whatever's going on with him.
Yeah.
And how much time she spends with Angel.
This was the first time that... Well, and the way she was talking, it didn't feel unnatural, where she was talking about Angel and him... tales of your whatever she vocalizes, and Gru takes offense to it, and she has to kind of dig herself out of the hole. Like, nothing she said in this episode actually felt that out of character for her.
It's not like she dislikes him or she is being with him as some kind of denial or to make Angel jealous or something. She likes Gru. It's just not love. Or it's not the connection she has with Angel, where for Gru, it is with Cordelia. Because I really do like the line when she asked him in so many words if you were a virgin before me, and he says that honor was yours, princess. Which again, just his genuine thing that I believe him, and he really did think that was an honor. Like, for him, that was a big deal, and for her, it wasn't, and that's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, about that relationship. I mean, obviously they've...
Well, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it for now.
Yeah.
That's the one thing in that... I mean...
There isn't a whole lot that goes on in this episode.
No, it's not. There really isn't. And it's not like it's bad. It's just there's so much of this that is just set up for the next 2 episodes that I don't know what to say without spoiling things.
Right. Like, the whole closing the portal thing, like, nothing... They spent a lot of time to do that, to have the characters just kind of sitting around talking.
Yes.
Or standing around talking, anyways.
It's a lot of looking for Connor and a lot of Connor with Sunny, which we'll get into in feedback again. But, yeah. I mean, we can move on from here. I just wanted to talk about how much I like Gru, because I'm surprised at how much I like Gru in Rewatch.
I've been holding back. Like, I do want to so badly mention Riley, which we talked about why we wouldn't.
No, I
do find that very interesting.
What would you...
From your perspective, they're
you
very
mean that I like Gru and I hate Riley?
I hate Riley, yes. They're very similar characters.
Okay, well, here we go.
You don't have to defend it. I find
you poked the bear. The reason I hate Riley and I like Gru is because I don't... Okay. Gru... there's less about Riley. Riley is given more screen time, and I'm asked to care about Riley more than I'm asked to care about Gru, which is probably why I care about Gru more. Because Riley's very front and center as a series regular, I believe. I don't know. Who cares? It's Riley. But Gru is just a secondary character and is given a lot of development for a secondary character, and that's why I like him. If Gru was front and center, then maybe not.
Yeah, but I also think it's very apparent of how his feelings are not being reciprocated versus what happened in Buffy.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we can move on to feedback now.
And Riley never told a joke that was funny. Gru does. Anyway, continue. That's just fine. If you were...
Cow me.
I feel like we've got your back, man. And then guns, look. Anyway. You can cut that out. Feedback.
Never. Alright, first up in feedback, we have Robin who said, I thought there were an odd series of choices here. We spend half the episode with Connor, but he only gets the briefest of character sketches. It felt like we got to know Sunny better than him. Connor was brought up to be self-sufficient and hate Angel. That's it. The producers spent a lot of money on filming in interesting locations and doing slow-mo action scenes for little reward. It's hard to make us feel real emotion for a baby that aged years in a month of our time, but I think a show like Lost would have found a way to draw out Connor's pain. Instead, he came across a little like Gru or Fred, someone from another dimension who is confused about modernity and must learn to trust Angel. I know I was underwhelmed with his return on first watch, but now that I've seen a show like Lost make silly-sounding sci-fi slow-moving, I think this struggles even more. So, thank you, Robin.
Okay. So, this is kind of... Okay, so Sunny. So Angel, like his father, needs a woman to die for him to have some kind of emotional pain for us to care about him as a character. Anyway, that's just a point I'm just going to throw out there. Whatever. I'm cool with it. It's...
Well, this was it's a very dark side of LA that they haven't explored often.
And they never do.
And I think it's very interesting.
Except when they try to give Gunn a episode, which isn't really about drug life.
Right.
Gang and inner city and minority life, but yeah.
So, I like the idea of Connor being exposed to the darkness of this world.
I just have a problem with the fact that it is another female character who dies so Connor can experience some kind of emotion and feeling about this world, which it bothers me, given the show's track record. Because there's no reason that Sunny really needs to be a woman besides the fact that Connor awkwardly sticks his tongue down her throat.
Right.
And he could be gay, I'm just saying. Guess he's not. But I'm just saying that besides the fact that he doesn't know, to establish that he doesn't know, he's confused about, he's never seen another girl, like you said, and he's confused about romance and all those things as well. This is something that's pretty normal. There's no reason for Sunny to be a woman, and then there's really no reason that Sunny needs to die.
And they're also there's the threat of sexual violence against her.
Oh, well, yeah.
When we're first introduced with her.
Well, there's a lot. Besides
the pimp or whatever that says you're going to have to work that off.
Robin says that I feel like we learn more about her than Connor, and I think we do. Especially, I think it's telling that she kisses Connor and then she goes to do drugs, and before that they're talking about her father, who she escaped, and I think there's some pretty terrifying and lines that can be drawn there, dots that can be connected.
Yeah. I mean, there's an interesting parallel going on, because it feels like they've both lived through hell.
But different types of hell, where Connor's was literal hell.
Yeah, and I think that's what they were going for. It's just they never made that connection.
No, because because the problem, I guess, is that Connor doesn't have... There are times when he has a real presence on screen, like when I think he does a very good job when he shows up and the tyke is threatening Sunny. And he comes off... He has a compelling presence there, but often I don't get enough of him. And I feel like it's really all on the actor to give you this sense of what he's suffered. And at times he does it, but it's not consistent throughout. Like, I don't feel all the time how much Connor suffered in Poor Connor. It's at times that Connor comes off as like, oh, that was a moment like when you said, Connor said, I got out. That's another moment where like, oh, I understand who this person is, but often it's kind of just like he's a blank slate that is wearing animal skins.
I agree with that 100%. I had to grasp at that moment, and it's just a very briefest of glimpse of the character that he could be.
Yes,
and the character I'm hoping that they can shine more light on,
because that is interesting.
Yeah, exactly. If you can have the dichotomy of him being antagonistic, trying to kill Angel with the pain, then you get a better understanding of why he's doing the things he's doing and how kind of sad that character could be.
And bringing up loss is interesting because I think a lot of the weight would be off the actor's shoulders if this episode was flashback, like all or a majority of flashbacks. Like if we saw Connor, Holt's raising baby Connor, and then like little kid Connor and all that, because then you really understand, and you don't need to just have it all on the actor and the few lines that he says. You can see him grow and how, just slowly, not a whole lot, but just like baby Connor, little boy Connor, and then maybe a couple scenes with this teenage Connor. And understand the whole breadth of his life.
I don't know if that's financially feasible, or how you would have to portray the worst hell dimension ever.
Yes, so that is another point that I don't think they ever want you to see Cortaz, because it's better if you just imagine what the worst hell dimension is than actually seeing the worst hell dimension. Kind of like when we were told Pylea was terrible, and then we went there and was like, well, this isn't the worst. I mean, it's not great if you're a human, but...
I think that they need more allusions to what went on there. It's just because he's so stoic.
Yeah.
That we can't even get, like, little reactions to the things he had to endure.
Besides like a couple scenes.
Yeah, there's very few. He's obviously like you said, had to scrap to fight and grow up very raw, but I just didn't ever get a sense of the pain that he must have endured living in some place that was so hard. And I mean, there's a lot of emotion that could be in this episode. We don't know him, but even if there was some, I mean, it might have been a little cheesy or something, but if there was some line where he does compare Kortoth to here, where he talks about, that since Sonny died, like, he just traded one hell for another.
Well,
like, that would be...
Doesn't Angel say that to him? That you've... Angel says something along those lines, that you must feel like you've come in... I think Angel does say you've traded one hell for another right now. You must feel that way. I'm almost positive that scene happens.
When?
It happens in the Angel-Connor confrontation. It is one line that...
Okay.
It's during Angel's long monologue. I'm not saying that you're wrong, because, as I said, it comes in a long monologue of Angel just trying to talk to Connor and get any kind of a way to connect to him. But, so it's not like it's a big moment, and they aren't... I mean, that isn't a very strong drawn parallel. But right. I understand what you're saying. I do believe that Angel says, you probably feel like you've traded one hell for another.
I'm not sure. I obviously didn't grasp onto that if I didn't catch it, but in any case. There's just a lack of empathy with Connor that's not working for me. But I don't want to judge too harshly on...
this one episode.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is a good point, though, that he is a lot of this episode is Connor, and I don't feel like I know him very well. Which is why I think this is an okay episode, and I think they could have done a whole lot better with Connor, but I don't think Connor comes off as bad. I think Connor comes off as unfinished. It's
all very surface level. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, he's a hunter. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Right now, he's at a Lindsay level. And I hope that we don't stay with the Lindsay level and just pretend that this is some kind of deeper character moving forward. Like, I hope they don't think that they nailed it in this episode, that we understand everything we need to about Connor.
No. I think that they've scratched the surface, and they've had little moments that piqued my interest.
Okay.
So that if they can capitalize on those
and just get rid of the surface level and killing off random pretty girls, because,
Yeah.
Anyway. We can move on to the next feedback, which is more about Connor anyway. All right, so next up we have Elise, who said the good. I love the slow motion of the first scene. Gunn calling Connor Peter Pan like Derek did. Gru saying, you will not fail, man, was funny. Wesley is semi-clean shaven. I like it. I like Connor and Sonny together, but now she's dead. Lauren's portal expert. I like her. The gash on the side of Wesley's neck is still on his neck. At least they didn't move it again. I'm iffy on the character of Connor, but he looks good shirtless. On top of all the Angel-Connor problems, it seems that Connor now has an identity crisis. If Connor knows about vampires, then how does he know that he's the son of two vampires? And if Holtz told him everything about Angel, that can't be good. Holtz is back, and why is his skin gray? Thank you, Lisa. Holtz had a rough about 18 years.
Right. Because
we're told Connor's a teenager, so I'm guessing he's around 18, 16 to 18. Those are some rough years for Holtz.
Yeah, he had to fight to save a baby in a hell dimension for however many years.
Mm-hmm. And it made his skin gray. And just to get old. She's right. It is a different color now. And I'm not sure too many old people, unless they're like severely on the death's door, if their skin is gray.
the aging makeup. I mean, it could have been just the lighting, but no, the aging makeup didn't look
good,
fantastic. No, it did not look great.
I would have traded just getting regular Holtz and just dyeing his beard a little gray. That probably would have been better for me, even if that's not maybe realistic that he doesn't really age in 20 years. Just besides some gray hair, which he's already had kind of a gray beard. But I think he's really distracting in that final scene. Like, it is not threatening when Holtz comes out of that shadows. It's kind of funny to me. And hopefully he won't be in the next episode, which I'm assuming he's featured in, but yeah, I really don't like the old man Holtz makeup.
No, it wasn't great, but I like the implication of him being there and getting a better sense, because if he's there and they spend some time with him, we might get a better sense of Connor and Holtz's time in Kortok.
No, I'm interested in the Connor and Holtz relationship because I'm almost positive that Holtz was a pretty great father to Connor. I don't think he was cruel in any way. At least I would hope so. Because like I said, I'm not sure. What?
I'm not sure. I have some vague memories.
Like I said, I have a problem with seeing Holtz as the bad guy, as a just bad person. And I don't want him to be a bad person. Which again, Holtz, like Guru, I'm surprised how much I like him on Rewatch. I didn't have too much of an opinion on either character first time around.
They've done a good job of you seeing how twisted Holtz's, how vengeance has twisted him.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're raising one man's son to then go and murder his father, not necessarily the best thing.
No, he's not like I'm not saying he's Mother Teresa. I'm just saying I don't want to see him as an evil person. I want to see him as someone that's consumed by vengeance and probably has some iffy methods. But I don't want next episode to him be abusive to Connor.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I don't know. It would depend on the psyche of how Holtz views Connor. Mm-hmm. But if he's naming him Steven and if he actually raised him to be his own son, it's also it depends on how much he's told Connor. But obviously Connor knows that Angel was his father.
Mm-hmm.
If Holtz puts any kind of resentment towards Connor in that way, then you might have glimpses of some sort of abuse, but how is that going to compare to growing up in a hell dimension anyways?
Yeah.
So, and it would be interesting, and I would like to, if they can make a scientific, or not scientific, but how Buffy would use sci-fi to talk about real-world topics, if they wanted to put some parallels to Connor being an abused child, and
well, obviously Connor grew up in an abusive environment. Whether
right.
it came from Holtz or not, I think the parallel is pretty clear from that he was an abused child just from where he grew up.
Right.
That he has trust issues, maybe.
He's aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think there are some interesting things that they can do, and I'm hoping that they can do that. I did like Wesley in this episode.
We'll get to Wesley.
Dang it.
It's the next comment. Calm down.
Okay. He looks very handsome. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, maybe you could whisper sweet nothings in his ear, like,
having the shirtless Connor, I thought that was...
You're getting real homoerotic with this comment.
I thought that was interesting. Just the fact that since he doesn't have doesn't have social rules, the way he just kind of gets naked.
Trail.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was an interesting scene. But
did you also like him shirtless? Because you thought Wesley was real handsome.
I thought Wesley did look very handsome.
Okay. So 2 episodes in a row, I have preempted a joke that I didn't know existed. One was when Cordelia called Gru a puppy dog, and the other one was Connor calling Gru Peter Pan, which I feel less impressed with myself over the Peter Pan, because how can you not make a Peter Pan joke when Connor is dressed in that way?
In leathers, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the hairstyle, too.
It's the whole thing. So the other thing is, he has a horrible haircut, which I kind of like just imagining Holtz trying to cut his hair, because obviously he would have had to cut it at some point. And it looks like he cut it with some kind of knife. Holtz's hair, still perfectly styled, though.
Maybe he spent that time going through the portal, going to get his hair cut, then showed up in the alley.
And then showed up in the alley. Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah.
You know, old people need to go get their hair cut.
Yeah. Okay. So now you can read Joseph's comment, and we can talk about Wesley.
Okay, good. So next up we have Joseph, and he says, I really liked any time Angel was speaking, and couldn't care any less about anything else. It's a tall order to make us care about a sulky teenager with mysterious secrets, and I don't. Well, I also kind of liked the Wes and Lila scene, even if Lila did lay it on a little thick at the end. Who was that at the end of the Inferno? Who was it? I can't quite remember. I can't see Lila turning Wes. He doesn't seem like the type to go evil, no matter how resentful he is. Plus, if they made him the big bad for Season 4, he'd just be a slightly scarier Holtz. So, thank you, Joseph.
Okay. I disagree that I couldn't see Lila turning Wesley, because I could easily see that. If it is next episode he comes into Wolfram Hart and he is full-on evil, then I have a problem with it. But I do not have a problem with him going evil, because I think I could see Wesley embracing the role of being a bad guy if everyone starts to see him that way.
I mean, there is part of, like, his whole self-loathing and things that you could definitely see that. I still feel like he's that kind of guy that does things for the greater good, even if, you know, damn the consequences or whatever. So I don't know if I could see him. I do like this a lot. Like, I think Lila, yeah, she's a little over the top on sometimes with the Dante's Inferno thing, but it really does end in a really nice way. I like that. Like, don't think that you're too good to work for us. Yeah,
which is what I like. What I like about Wolfram Hart is, well, I guess what I like about Lila, because I feel like she's, and maybe Linwood, is that they are people that are greedy and selfish and all that, but they're still people. And it would be interesting to see how they recruit somebody. And the other thing is, like, where is Wesley going to go? He can't go back to the Watchers Council. He won't go back to Angel Investigations because he's too proud. And because Angel would kill him, even if Connor's back, I still think that'd be a rocky situation. So where would he go? And they could see him, without any options, going to work for Wolfram and Hart and pretending that he is trying to do it for good, and maybe trying to be a double agent, and then he just becomes overwhelmed with what he's doing. I could see that happening.
Yeah, and it would be an interesting move for the character, because obviously he seems a little lost.
And Wesley does seem like the type of person, if people keep telling him that he's a bad person and you work for a bad place, that he is just going, out of spite, to embrace that. That if you think I'm a bad person, then I'm just going to be a bad person. Because that's what comes across to me in that gun scene. Is like, if you don't want me to talk to you, if you're mad at me, then fine, I don't ever want to see you people again either.
Yeah. He could come across a little petty. I think that it depends on what kind of stories they want to mine.
It has to be a long process, is what I'm getting at, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it would suck if all of a sudden, yay, he's walking into Wolfram and Hart next week.
If like he walks into Wolfram and Hart and he's like the new Gavin, or he's that got or he's the new creepy Sheldon Cooper because Gavin's the new Lindsay, and they haven't replaced creepy Sheldon Cooper.
Right. I do like the fact that Lila goes to Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that seems like something slimy and something evil to do, like, and go corrupt the person that they kicked out.
Why wouldn't you? Like, I would. Like, he seems the perfect person to recruit to your side on your worst enemy. Like, Wes says that she tells him why they want him to work for him, and he says, and the intimate
knowledge of Angel investigation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I like the way that she manipulates him by using a book and something that is written down in text, because Wesley is the type of person who believes things that come from books and knowledge and things that are recorded.
Right.
And she
drops truth on him.
Yes. About Dante's Inferno and Judas Iscariot and all that. Which the reason that she lays it on a little bit thick to me is partly I think it is that's just Lila having fun twisting the knife, and she wants Wesley to say it. And the other real part is that a lot of people aren't going to know who's in the devil's middle mouth in Dante's Inferno.
Right.
And they want to just educate the audience. But mostly, it is partly because Lila just wants him to say it. It
still works, especially because he has to say it, and she gets full control in that conversation. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, she feels pretty much in control the entire time, but Wesley has this, bravado of, like, now get the hell out. But then suddenly he like, when he says Judas Iscariot, he kind of, like, not cowers, but, like, glimpse of, like, old Wesley, like, oh yeah, I screwed up.
Well, it's that he knows that she's won at that point.
Right.
That she's come to do what she wanted, and he can't really, it's not like he can disagree about who's in the middle mouth. There's nothing.
Right.
And that feeds into his self-loathing that he betrayed everyone. And I'm sure that's how Wesley feels like Judas. Whether that is an accurate representation, I should say, of what Wesley did. Because I think there's a difference. Besides the fact that I called him Wesley Iscariot in one of my recaps, there is a difference between what Judas did and what Wesley did.
Sure.
Well, are you not defending Wesley? Because I would have figured you're the person to defend. I'm coming to Wesley's defense as much as I don't like him really now.
No, but I think it's interesting because it plays into his self-loathing. Mm-hmm. That he would see it as, oh, I've done the worst thing ever imaginable.
Yeah.
That he probably would think himself like what he did was on equal terms, even if it's not the same thing, because he was actually doing it to protect someone versus...
Judas didn't really do it to
get some money. Yeah. I am slightly concerned with not necessarily Wes's storyline, but with Fred's storyline.
Oh, because Fred's still all about, why don't we call Wesley? We should call Wesley. You know who we should call? Wesley. You know who could help with this? Wesley.
That's bothering me.
Yeah, it's bothering me too, and we already talked about it, really. There's nothing much more to say besides I think that
they want to keep that alive.
Yep.
The triangle. That's...
Yep. Yep. That is my reaction to it as well.
None of the characters are gonna... We had Cordelia say, like, I don't think Angel's gonna go for that. That was... So she's the only one of Angel Investigations that can actually talk about Wesley, which is just further annoys me.
Well, no, Gunn talks about it.
Well, Gunn is very dismissive and says, already went to that well once, can't go again.
Well, yeah, because he went to that well last episode and Wesley said, don't ever come back here. It makes perfect sense to me, though. Gunn is in that place, but he just doesn't... He went to go see Wesley, and the end of that conversation was, don't ever come back here ever again, and Gunn is going along with that.
Right. Yeah, it sucks that that Fred is the only one that can bring up Wesley from the group. because it just plays into them wanting to keep that storyline alive.
Well, she isn't the only one. I feel like Lauren could. Because Lauren is the type of person who, if it is... Well, maybe it's not. Maybe Wesley is not meant to be with them. But if Wesley was supposed to be with them, and let's just say that he is, Lauren could say something. I feel like no, Cordelia probably is not going to say anything because she's with Angel on this, and Gunn, we know, isn't. But Lauren could say something if they wanted someone other than Fred to do it, but they don't because they want to keep that thing alive that we won't. The love triangle that will not be mentioned.
Right. Okay. So are we done with A New World for now?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's me. I forgot. So next up we have Joseph talking about the price. He said, I agree with you guys that it felt weird when Juice Guy died. This is at least the second time the writers have done this joke in the opening sequence after Provider. Haha, Angel and Company are so incompetent that some guy who needed their help died in agony. Haha. I've forgotten all about this episode, so I was surprised how good it was. I think more shows should lower their expectations with terrible sounding summaries. Thank you, Joseph. Which is a good point, because I thought that price was going to be terrible based on the description on Netflix.
If you just say slug demons, you're like,
yeah, there's that.
This is not going to be a good one. But no, yeah. I had remembered liking it on first watch, so I went in with relatively high expectations, I guess. Or decent expectations. So clearly I just need to write even worse summaries for next times, right? That everyone can go in with low expectations and everyone will be blown away by the next week's episode.
Sure. You could do that. Okay, but here's the other thing that we haven't really talked about. We're not really done talking about New World. And the Juice Guy thing reminded me of it. What is with the cops in the end of this episode that come in with the shootout that are going to shoot Connor with a shotgun when he's unarmed?
It was so I don't mind like them shooting into the house if
no, because it's a shootout. Because Tyke and the people are shooting. That I'm fine with. It's the cop that comes in with the shotgun. It is going to kill Connor, just straight up.
It is the most awkward scene, also because of the way like he comes in, shoots. Then Tyke starts shooting at him again, and he, like, awkwardly steps back behind the door again. Mm-hmm. So, like, busts in, and then, I'm done trying to kill someone.
I'm going to stand in the door frame. I'm going to kill this kid. I feel pretty good about that one. And the reason the Juice Guy reminded me of it is it just the weird kind of... And the other weird kind of callous issue that sometimes... Or inconsistent when it comes to other people around Angel investigations, like... Angel suddenly has a real problem. Maybe not suddenly, but he has a problem with Connor talking about killing Tyke. Where Angel kills people, like, a lot. And they're demons, sure. But they've established that some demons are alright. So I guess it's just demons who have no sense of redemptive qualities. Angel's alright with murdering straight up. Because I don't really see... The more we get into good demons and the gray, that... I'm fine with Angel, like, killing people who are bad and are doing bad things, but there is an also thing... He, like, doesn't... It's not like he has a no-kill rule. And he comes off really... Like, it's terrible that Connor's talking about killing someone. Where Angel kills people, like, a lot.
Well, it's weird the show's attitude towards people dying as well. Like the Juice Guy dying was almost like dark comedy. Mm-hmm. But obviously we have
it's that same thing in Provider when he's talking about when that guy tries to call but he has the wrong number.
Yeah.
And then he gets killed in the totally, which I didn't like that joke either.
But obviously they treat the Sunny death very serious in this week's episode.
Sure, but it's also it is serious, but it's also kind of casual how she just kind of dies, and then it's all about Connor's man pain.
Although it was kind of interesting that Angel was like, hey, we'll deal with this together. Like, how was he planning on dealing with the dead body?
I don't know.
So,
I think Angel has some experience with dead bodies.
Yeah, that's kind of dark. That whole storyline got dark very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's a weird balance, and the more you're in the gray with the show, the more
it just
like, are we supposed to care about people dying?
Yeah, it just struck me as odd when Connor wants to kill Tyke, and Angel's like, "No, don't, bad." Where I guess it's because he's a human, and they've established that humans have souls and can be redeemed. But it's strange to me because he kills so many bad people on a kind of daily basis. And the line between demon and human is blurred for me on this show. Because you have people like Lorne and the demons of Caritas.
It's basically been blurred since the season 2 premiere.
Yeah. I think it was fine when Angel was murdered. And I feel like Angel has murdered less humanoid demons since then. And when he has, it's been like a big deal. Because I'm thinking it was Sleep Tight where he murdered the demon band, which were humanoid. And I'm trying to think of the last time he murdered a humanoid demon. Last time was probably when he killed that old couple who turned out not to be bad.
Right.
So there are these times where he murders humanoid demons that are okay, maybe I've changed my mind about it. It becomes a problem. All right, no, you're right. Okay. I just talked myself out of that weird thing that they did, because they didn't. They've actually been kind of consistent with it, that he doesn't. Is there any other times that he's like killed humanoid demons that it's like it hasn't turned out to be a problem?
No, not that I can think of. But it was nice, like, when we had Wesley, he can at least go into the books and be like, oh yeah, this demon's bad. You could kill him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, they had...
So this whole conversation's been irrelevant.
Pretty much.
And you could probably cut it out. But
the attitude of the show in terms of, like, humans dying, though, I still think that's relevant.
Yes, there is... Okay, so I can
not
still
to say that... Yeah.
I can still have an issue.
Yeah. And not to say that the show should be like, oh, Juice Guy died, now we need to mourn his loss.
Have a eulogy for Juice Guy.
So it's a difficult balance, and as long as we're in the gray, I don't know. It was tonally weird in that episode, based off of what would happen later. I just think you have to take it by episode basis. I don't know.
Okay.
So, favorite moments and scores?
Sure.
Why don't I go first?
Because actually, we've talked about my favorite moment rather recently.
We kind of talked about mine too. I went with, it was an Angel Connor scene in the conversation. The second part after he says, stop saying it, that's not my name. Where it starts with Angel kind of coming to grips with what Connor's life must have been like. He kind of fumbles around like, did you have friends? No, of course you didn't have friends. You were in a hell dimension. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have given up. I should have tried harder. I should have found a way in. And it ends with Connor saying, I got out. And I thought that was the most real emotion we got from Connor. Mm-hmm. It just had that hint of pain that he must have endured while he was there. And it was just a nice moment between with Angel trying to come to grips with his son now being a teenager.
Yeah. Okay. My favorite moment was Lila and Wesley. There's nothing more to say than we didn't talk about in feedback, honestly, so that was just my favorite moment, because I am very interested in Wesley's story, even if I don't find him likable, particularly now. I find him to be very fascinating. In the same way that Angel being dark, he wasn't likable, but I found that equally interesting.
Right. it's because they're actually doing something with his character.
Well, there's that.
No, I think it is very interesting, and I think
it doesn't involve his creepy feelings about Fred.
So I forgot to mention in my favorite moment the fact that Connor was so fascinated with seeing Angel's vamp face was a nice perversion of whenever we got the scene whenever he was a baby, like looking at Angel's vamp face in wonder, and like
the thing that Angel got, he got Connor to stop crying was to turn the vamp face on.
Right. And so suddenly, like, having Connor's, like, disdain for Angel and the monster that he is underneath.
I really like Angel's reaction to Connor's disdain for his vamp face, because obviously he remembers that, because it happened a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So I like that, yeah.
Also, what's your favorite moment? Wes is so dreamy right now.
Yeah. Is it the neck scar that moves every so often?
No, I think he's dressing sharper now. You know, he's got the
you just like
nice button-up T-shirts, and got his hair all done up. Yeah,
you like the bad boy.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's looking good.
He's exciting. That's why Fred wants to keep calling him, because he's a hot piece of ass now.
But she's with Gunn. Gunn is
always a hot piece of ass.
So there you go.
Yeah. I'm not saying she should switch. I'm just saying she has options now.
So scores.
Okay. You go first. Because I don't know.
Yeah, I wrestled with it. I ended up giving this a 61 out of 100.
Okay.
Wasn't terrible. Wasn't great. I don't know.
Okay, I gave it I think I'm going to go with a 59, just because I wouldn't even say it wasn't terrible, but I wouldn't even say it wasn't that good. It was all right. It's fine. Like, it's not
a lot of setup.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup, and it's fine. Like, it's fine.
I like the action scenes.
Yeah.
They were.
All right, so before we move on to plugs and all, my favorite part, we have announcements, which we should get out of the way. We'll be recording next episode Saturday night. Correct? Yes.
Correct.
I would like you to help me out with this. Because I feel awkward just addressing everyone. All right, so we're recording Saturday night next time. We're not sure about when we're recording the finale episode, but it'll probably be on Thursday, next 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, sometime around then.
Which would be the 17th.
17th.
Of September. So probably around there. And we were also planning on doing a season podcast, even for the whole season. And that's whether we get enough feedback or not, because as you probably know, we can ramble without feedback. But it'd be nice to have some. So if you want to send in feedback for the entire season, we'd probably do it around the same day.
Right.
Okay, so that also would be on the 17th. And then, because I have started 2 new jobs, we might definitely going to be taking a little bit of a break to the middle of October before we start season 4. Mostly for the job thing, and then, without spoilers, I kind of need a break before we begin season 4. Anyone who's seen season 4 would know why that is, but we'll leave that a mystery.
Gotta get a decompress and get a fresh start.
I need some time to prepare. You can't just dump that on me.
Which will only be taking
it'll be like
a 2-week break.
It'll be a 2-week break. Okay, so it's like in the middle of October we'll start up again. Just a little bit of time for me to emotionally prepare. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. Those are our announcements. You can go about your day. All right.
And if you'd like to leave us some feedback, you can do so by commenting on the post at theangelrewatch.wordpress.com.
Or you can send an email to angelrewatch@gmail.com.
Or you can call our voicemail number at 206-203-3276.
Or you can go to Tumblr, which is angelrewatch.tumblr.com to see the reviews archive there and the gifts of whatever episode we're watching that week.
We're available on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. While you're there, leave us a review. It really helps promote the show. You can follow me on Twitter at NerdGuyWilliam.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at TheComforter.
And next time, we'll be reviewing Benediction, where Holtz insists that Connor rejoin Angel. Meanwhile, Justine learns Holtz is back.